messing around.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right. Okay. No. Let's start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Director Ellis,
Here.
Director Ewald,
Here.
Director Urbanbach,
Here.
Director Carey,
Here.
Director Graves,
Here.
President Esseman.
Here. All board members being present, we have a quorum. This meeting is called to order. We have no guests in attendance this morning. Director Show, the general manager and assistant manager are both here. I'll dispense with my remarks on the conduct of the meeting since we have no members of the public here. So if they do join us, I will make those remarks at that time. We'll dispense with public comment and questions to the board on non-agenda items. As there are no members of the public here. Can I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll second.
Director Ewald second.
Hey, Rick, you raised your hand.
Made the motion, sorry, I didn't catch it, and a second by Director Graves. Okay, we'll move then to the only item on the agenda, which is new business, and that is the application for the Montana Coal Endowment Grant. So would someone like to make a motion to it on the table?
I'm going to put it out there for discussion.
I'll second.
Okay, on the table for discussion. Direct General Manager Anderson, would you like to tell us what's going on?
Well, I wish I could. But you called me on Wednesday about this grant, and I understand you got some information from Frank on that grant. So as far as preparing this grant, we had no time here to do it. And Interstate Engineering, Lynette was on the way to the hospital. So as far as a regular grant application, this is a slap shot at the best.
Okay. So when we spoke on Wednesday, I kind of got the impression that Bo was going to provide you the templates and you were gonna, I assume, I thought that was pretty generous of you to do that over the weekend. Holiday weekend. Did he provide you those templates at that time or not?
He said he would, but Lynette is the one who normally does that.
So he wanted.
And I was talking to her in her car on the way to her hospital. So she recommended call Brad and have Cass do it. And that's where we left off. So we had to come up with a project and a cost estimate for this work. This is not how I recommend we do things. For the PR or the CIP. We had no cost of it, and Brad had, I don't know how many hours he had to try to figure this thing out, so it was a slap shot.
I'm confused. You were asked to provide the blank application, not to fill it out. Right? Isn't that correct?
No,
Well, You know, I guess I got the impression that Brad was gonna send us the blanks and that Bo was gonna complete it over the weekend. I can understand that. Brad's with Interstate not doing it, and I'm fine with that. I mean, if I could have done it myself over the weekend had I known we weren't gonna get any work product, but. You know, at this point, we don't have a complete application to submit.
So can we make an alternative motion that, I mean, the application's easy to submit, it's online. 6 pages long, it's not much, that you submit the application on behalf of the district and get any information you need from the director, from the general manager.
Got other things on my plate today, and I'm not gonna be able to take the time personally to prepare it. I mean, the GM could prepare it. Another director could prepare it. I'm fine with any other solution, but you know, in terms of the time I've devoted, I think, you know. Lately, it's been a lot, and my own work, you know, unfortunately is piled up. And now I've got to dig out of my own hole, so I'm sorry. I apologize to the board and the district. I've just run out of capacity. Director Carey.
You only have an hour to do that.
No, it's due at midnight.
At midnight?
11:59 p.m.
Okay, 9 AM.
Director Ewald.
I think because this kind of got brought on the 11th hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, to rush this and try and get it in could hurt our chances another time when we may need it even more than we need it now. And so I would like to make it a different motion to say that we let this go, and if we need it later at another date on another project. Yeah, I think it's done every year, or every 2 years.
It's an annual process, and
So-
for just for background information. I was informed that in the past, it's been a rush to the door for submittal, and they just took them in the order that they were received. This year, for the first time, it's competitive. They've advertised it. They've got over 300 applications. So in terms of, you know, rising to the top through that process, it's gonna be more difficult, particularly because we don't have, you know.
So I'd like to make a substitute motion that we because of the timing and everything, the holiday weekend, the whole ball of wax, that we let this one go, and if we need it at another project at another time, get on it a little bit sooner, especially when you got 300 applications already. Ours is gonna be really weak, so I think, so that's my substitute motion, that we do not act on this and we save it for a better time.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded to not submit an application for this grant. Is there discussion? Director Allen.
My only comment is I looked at the video for the application, although I didn't watch the whole thing. It's been open since October. So the fact that we never knew anything about it. I mean, how did you find out, Frank?
I was talking to Curtis DeShawn, he asked me if we ever thought about putting in for that. I called him about that other one, that 11 million, to see what
Okay,
see what his feeling was on that, and then he goes, well, did you ever think about this? And I didn't even know what it was, but I didn't even think about going any further with it because it was such a short time period, so.
okay. Well, I just thought something's missing when we're spending the kind of money that we are on engineering and we don't get any notice of it. But I agree with you that there's no
We
point.
didn't have a project to apply for it through Interstate, we didn't have anything going on for them to do it, so. That's probably why they didn't bring it up. So that's why I made my motion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Spencer,
Has
been seconded.
by further
For
discussion.
both things.
All in favor of the motion to not submit an application for this planning grant, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. President,
Board members, next item.
Mr. President,
Yes, I'm sorry, Director Carey.
I would like to move that we instruct management to come up with an alternative project and have it ready by June for our budget purposes and grant application.
Well, if we're right in the middle of the RFQ process for an updated preliminary engineering
Mhm.
review and CIP, so I think that we could use that to identify that. You know, for fiscal year 28. Some, you know, depending on what comes out of that. We've had, I can't afford to. The board, we've had 4 responses so far to the posting of the RFQ. One is withdrawn, which was HDR. They withdrew because of a conflict of interest. They do. That firm does the engineering work for the city buildings, not Morrison Mayer. Just thought that was interesting, and I discovered that over the weekend. I'm sorry. So, anyway. We can move ahead.
Okay, I will.
If there's a second. Is there a second?
I will withdraw my motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And we've got plenty of time to take that out. Thank you for your thought.
But it does need to be put on an
Yeah.
agenda sometime.
Yep, it does.
That,
Director Ewell.
that 15,000 or something that we just approved the payment for, the receipt of it last meeting,
Mhm.
that's the same program. So I don't, what's the amount? Does anybody know? Did we get $1 million or is it in the lower thousands?
Well, this is actually a different program than that RRGL. That RRGL goes through DEQ. And what I learned is this planning grant actually goes through Department of Commerce. So it's,
So the two aren't tied
they
together.
are not
No.
together.
Okay.
So,
And you know, the reason why we got that, the 15,000 was the Northwestern transmission line. And because we're now doing the second connection, that frees up that grant.
That's the 11 million.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so,
was talking about the 15,000 or 17,000 that we.
yeah, that was part of
That
that.
was part of it.
Yeah, so, because we decided to go with the second metered connection, that grant was paid out. And that's because it's been pending for like 2 years, as you know, the Northwestern transmission line was in the hopper a long time.
okay,
Um,
while we're here, our next board meeting is 16 days from today. Does anybody have things they want to put on the agenda you'd like to bring my attention now? I need to circulate that. Generally, I circulate an email to you saying, what would you like to discuss at our next meeting? So
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, I have 2, which I think we can do here, because you can give direction to management at a work session. You just can't make financial decisions. So one of them is I sent the email about Tom Miller's water. This is the water from his faucet. He did have it tested at Energy Labs. It's hydrogen bacteria, which generally comes from wells, but it can also be caused by disturbance in the water. Interestingly enough, we had funny little things in our basement toilets, which I kept wondering about because it didn't make any sense. But that's also indicative of hydrogen bacteria because those toilets aren't used very much. So it builds up in water that sits. He was just kind of brushed off and told, sorry, your problem. But because this can be caused by a break in the pipes where dirt gets in, and that has happened multiple times, that we typically, you would issue a boil order. We never have, even when we get dirt in the pipes. And the only way to correct it that I know of is you've got to give it a chlorine shock, which individual householders can't do. I don't I know for sure that he has it in his pipes. This is the crap that builds up in his a water heater. And again, I don't know if that's linked, but I think that we need to be testing.
That's not linked at all.
Okay, I have no idea. He didn't say it was, he just tried it.
Everybody's water heater, and it's the anode that gives up itself, so it doesn't eat on the metal.
Yeah,
So that's,
but he's getting this every month. I don't know, but there's something wrong with the water system. And I know I was told when I first joined the board by an engineer that the district doesn't follow DEQ guidelines for issuing boil orders when they get dirt in the system. I know I've read on Facebook where the district had a break and they knocked on people's doors and ran mud through their hoses until it cleared. So we've had so many breaks, and the fact that Mr. Miller is near Clevenger, and we're also east of Maine. I think we should be testing a series of homes to see, is this a widespread issue? And then I don't know how we get chlorine, a higher dose of chlorine, to just part of the system, because we only have one chlorine system. But
Is there a fire hydrant in that vicinity?
We've discussed this with this gentleman multiple
I've
times.
been there personally. We changed his water meter. I had Josh flush the line. The health department were over there too.
We flushed all of Shawnee, we flushed his service line, we've replaced his meter. We've taken multiple chlorine residuals all around there. And I spoke with DEQ over this issue, and we've not heard, none of the other neighbors have come forward with this issue.
I spoke with a neighbor, they do not have an issue. So there's something distinct with his trailer.
we also have a problem.
How old is his
Our house.
trailer?
It's old,
See, and that is.
yeah. And
pipe.
the issue is too that the internal plumbing is older, and you might have some not copper pipe or plastic. Galvanized and so black iron. So there's a number of things. Usually it has something to do with the water heater. But we cannot go into somebody's home and check their water heaters. We go to the curb stop, and I had them change the water meter because there is a strainer in there. There was nothing wrong with that. So do we have issues with water quality? Yes. So where do we draw the line? And it's by the curb stop. The day is not long enough to deal with people's water quality in their house. But you're right, whenever we fix a line, there would be contamination in the line. We flush the neighborhood as much as we can, but you will have some material, and normally it's not a big issue.
Whenever we make the repairs, we swap the pipe, we follow the procedures. We're not in violation of any.
It's not what engineers have told me, but you know,
We've never received a violation from DEC for either.
Yeah.
I'd like to follow up, Director Ellis, on what you're saying, and if you could put that in the email to, we will follow, we take
did.
all.
Pipes.
I did.
If this particular individual,
and I mentioned that we are
I
also
have
having a
this
problem at our
separate.
house.
I have his testimony.
So in terms of the customer's house and the director's house, how close is the nearest fire hydrant to each of those? Because that's the easiest place to
I
get a
believe
sample for water, correct?
you can sample right out of their tap, you can sample out of the hydrant. There's 3 of them on Shawnee where his is at. There's one right outside your house, right?
No, not our house, but they're at the top of the block.
Yeah.
Well, I think because he's escalating this, you better memorialize, you better dig out all the testing you did. You better develop a memo Because if there is a litigation, you're gonna have to be, you are permitted in court to resort to a memo to refresh your memory about what you did and when you did it. And I think this is the situation that's appropriate for, so get that all put together and then share it with the board, so we have the same thing.
Sure.
So have all the information you verbally presented to us, so that, we'll be in a better position to respond to him in writing.
Sure.
But-
Could you do that for us?
Yeah,
But
I
also
think that would be
me,
appropriate.
it's the problem in our toilets has been over a month, so it's not clearing. And I realize that it's not a health issue. Although there's no way I would drink this water, but our water doesn't look that bad. But something's wrong when it doesn't clear for that long a time. And
Well, let's get a test of the director's water.
Sure.
Is one, as long as you're going out, get one more from the customer. What do you guys think would?
Is the age of the trailer court. We don't know what kind of pipe they have in the ground from the
No.
time it leaves our stop till it goes there. It's just like your own home. And you can go test your thing. Your pipes are gonna pick up sediment and things in the pipes. Where you'll have that, especially with hot water heaters, knowing how old that hot water heaters is.
They had similar issues down at. Oh, it used to be Blaine's Trailer Court, now what is it called, Meadow Lark or something like that, and that's the same water, we sell, city water. It's going through pipes, but they've had multiple complaints about brown water there too, and it's about the same age facility.
I'm not sure Blaine's is on city water, city sewer. But I don't think
They're
they're city
different.
water.
I think they're separate.
But there's other trailer courts that have had the same
Same
issue.
issue.
Because they don't, back in the day and the codes, you don't know what kind of pipes in the ground.
A lot of those are consecutive systems, so.
Yep.
Is the piping in the street, is that the water district or is that private?
It's hard.
Okay.
Stops at.
But I have this
stop.
particular individual in my office. I have his test report. I had samples just like that from him.
If you send any kind of a follow-up letter as to where he should look
Well,
at, then
This is over a, what, 6-month period or a year?
okay,
So there are
Sounds-
issues here.
sounds like you should have
Neighbors,
a plumber.
to neighbors and no problem.
He
So
did
I-
have a plumber, and
They didn't find anything?
evidently not.
Well, this issue was brought up and we talked in the parking lot. I don't think it's fair to the employees that we send them emails on Thanksgiving, on Saturdays and Sundays in the evening. Their time is their time when they leave unless it's an emergency, we have a break or something like that. This could have waited till the business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 PM. Constantly sending emails to Bo and Josh is not an instructive way to treat our employees.
We don't mind if it's an emergency. We have
Yeah,
no
I
problem.
said that.
Because you're part of the family, if you will, your eyes and ears in the community. So you provide very valuable input. So technically, you might not know one way or the other, but in doubt, please contact us. We have no problem with that, but
But most of the issues can wait till 8 o'clock in the morning and be done by 5,
yeah,
Monday through Friday, not on a holiday, not on a Sunday, not at 9 o'clock at night.
can I disagree with that point of view? I mean,
We're here I'm glad we're respectful.
yeah,
So let's hit it out and let's try to get it resolved, because I think Director Graves makes a decent point, and the GM responded appropriately, if there's an emergency and if there's any doubt. Okay, so we've got to discuss the middle ground, so please.
well, what I would say is, we get $100 a month, they get over 100,000 a year, over 10. So you're not compelled to read your email over the weekend. Bo does send, if there's something that's high priority, he puts something in red that says high priority, which people could do. But my time is my time. So I write an email when I have time. I don't I don't work my life around Bo and Josh's schedule. When I have a question, I send it in and if they respond during the work hours, that's fine. I didn't put any high priority on it. I just think the consideration needs to go to the board who has a right to respond when they read the emails.
Make one suggestion. When it does involve some new technology, I got this new laptop and it's got Windows 11 on it, and now I notice that when I go to send an email. It is at odd hours and I do the same I'd have the same kind of poor work habits. So I'm feeling a little pressured and overwhelmed. It will say, you want this to be sent during normal business hours. There's a little banner at the top and I can and have clicked on that to make use of that technology. I think it's a good technology. So you're all gonna have to migrate to Windows 11 here pretty quick.
It's not on the cell phone.
I'm gonna take care of that problem. There's gonna be something under the trees for you. Oh, but I would ask you, you know, as you upgrade, and you will be, because they're gonna force us all to. You might wanna make use of that, just. Because then we can get our thing done and let them get their thing done. Cause it doesn't all have to go now, so. John,
We're talking about agenda items. Can we put the meters on there? And
Been laying on the
yeah,
table for
no, it's,
3
yeah,
months
it was postponed from last month. so
and the
it
months
will be there.
before.
We do wanna see presentations on both sets of meters and both the RF and
Yeah.
the cellular for Neptune.
Yeah.
So we can compare apples to apples. Director, you won't.
In Pam's defense, sometimes. Now, as I get older, there's a lot of things I forget, like I'll walk in the room 3 times and the 3rd time I go, that's it, I ain't gonna, I'm not gonna worry about it anymore. Well, that's the same way with emails. Why it's on your mind, you send an email. It's your option whether you want to read it on the weekend or after hours, or you wait till your work day. I went to Great Falls on Wednesday. I came home yesterday. And this morning is the first time I opened my email. I figure a holiday weekend, if anybody's sending stuff, it can wait this morning when I get up and then I will look at it. So just because you send an email doesn't mean it needs to be acted on during off times, unless it's of high importance, and then it should be acted on, but you know, sometimes you're thinking about something, and if you don't do it, forget about it.
So you're saying if they don't open their emails during the evening on holidays and weekends, then we can't hold that against them unless it's a high priority thing.
I agree with
I
that.
think.
Okay, so I'm making that recommendation. You don't open those emails at night, only during business hours unless, you know.
If you want to, that's your prerogative. You don't have
But
to.
important or not, I read all emails, so it doesn't matter what hour. And I make that judgment call, do I need to get back within an hour, 2 hours? So I respect all you read, and once again, you're part of the panel. We all run this operation together, and you are our eyes and ear in the community. Any feedback, especially customer complaints, we take it very serious. And we need to act on it.
Okay, I think we got it worked out. Director.
This is another, Greg and I had asked to have the audit linked on a banner. And you had asked to have the RFQ for the engineers linked, and that hasn't happened. So do you need us to vote in order for you to accomplish that,
No,
or?
it's not Hopper.
Okay,
And as long as you're working on that first page,
Yeah.
I'd like a direct link to the contracts that we requested.
that's my question to you. Are you on it like under the about us where it goes to drop down? And then there's a contracts button or?
Yep, and the consolidation study vote. Because we're gonna be rolling something out here within the next month. And people are gonna wanna see it, so.
Right.
I think they should be able to go right to it. Because the worst, you know, people deserve information and they get scared when they can't find it easily, so let's make it easy.
On that note, Director Esmond, can we print a copy of Frank's email about the status of the consolidation study?
You emailed me about that and I responded already and said yes.
I can do that. Okay, great. Because they're all trying to see if their job's gonna be available next year, and I said, this is not gonna go down
I
quick.
think this board is gonna be very responsible with respect to how it treats its employees.
Good.
You know. That's my gut feeling.
Good.
So. What that ends up being, I think is a ways down the road. But I don't think anybody's just gonna be kicked to the curb.
But the consolidation study link should also include all of the minutes from the consolidation meetings, as well as the notice that is sent out to the public about,
Yeah,
Ask those.
I think there's a lot of things.
well, both should have them. He's in the meetings.
Who?
You're in the meetings, in the consolidation meeting.
Well. The consolidation meeting is a city work order, so.
They were gonna do that.
They keep the minutes.
But they send them to you.
I have not
Don't they?
received any. No.
No, there's.
Okay.
Well,
Just a work session, no minutes
Yeah,
taken,
but
back
there are-
up around and.
But I've gotten minutes.
Yeah, there are some technical minutes, and then you had a financial minute. Why don't I send it to Jeff or the board to figure out what it is you want to distribute? But you realize this is a city work order, like our task orders. They're in charge of it.
Well, I have minutes that I got through a public information request from the city, so I know minutes exist. And they consider them a public record.
Yeah, I don't try to withhold something. I'm just saying that there are two consultants involved here. And one is the technical, one is the financial. So.
Yeah,
Discussion like this after.
yeah,
Could I just,
feeling that, saying no, yes,
I just want to give you a happy feeling before you leave. Last November. We bought 20 million gallon more than we did this. 20 million gallons. You can do the numbers. This year, we sold almost 1 million gallon more.
Congratulations.
So I think our team has done a great job. And I'm out there, I see them in action. And the way they work together like brothers. I mean, it's amazing. Very little talk, just action doing this stuff. So anyway, this is money in our customers, because the more leaks we prevent and repair, the less the rate increase next year. I mean, you do the math, so this is a big savings, they say.
well, if we have sufficient margin, we don't have to pass every penny in terms of a rate increase, so. What we do need to do is come up with a decent plan for what we gotta cover in terms of deferred maintenance in this district, and we definitely have a lot of that. So that's what we're working on, that's why this RFQ is gonna be a big priority. And that's why we're gonna want somebody with a fresh set of eyes, in my opinion, to take a look at it. Anybody's welcome to submit a proposal.
Yep.
Including the incumbent, but them getting the job is not foregone, they're gonna have to compete for every step going forward, as far as I'm concerned. So.
Good.
Okay, seeing no further business before the board, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
So from
She can be
Stanford
right in that.
to Rygate,
Scary.
roads were totally